Into the home stretch. Interesting story the other day. I'm sure we all saw it and certainly talked about it. And that's the fact that Hydro is asking for a 3.4% hike. If it goes through, if the board, I guess, responsible for allowing this to happen, lets it go through, we'll all start paying more starting April of next year. It's a pretty big deal and something that a lot of people don't understand. Why Hydro, which apparently has lots of surplus power to sell to our friends down in the U.S. and to other Canadian provinces, could possibly need more money. I thought we were selling this stuff and making tons of money. Well, apparently that's not the case. Adrien Pouliot is the leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec. Haven't heard much, Adrien, from the Conservative Party, but you put out a letter, I guess this was just today, spelling out why you think this is absolutely ridiculous and why this ought not to be happening. So let's begin with the reasons why it shouldn't be happening.
Well, Aaron, you have to, I guess, take a step back and go back to 2003 when Mr. Charest was elected. And he basically forced Hydro-Quebec to procure wind turbine-produced electricity. So this was not a Hydro-Quebec decision because actually the president of Hydro-Quebec said that they didn't need more power and they didn't need turbine electricity. But, it's a government monopoly, so they obeyed. And so they went out and built all these wind turbines. The problem is that it's pretty difficult to know what the costs are because the government won't disclose how much they're paying these wind turbine producers. But the Montreal Economic Institute says that it costs about 14 cents per kilowatt hours. And the problem is that the selling price of electricity in Quebec on average is 6 cents per kilowatt hour. So basically, Hydro-Quebec is losing 8 cents per kilowatt hour on these windmills or these wind
farms, yeah.
And that amounts to almost $700 million a year. And so basically, Hydro-Quebec is going to the Energy Board and saying, hey, we need a rate increase because we're losing all this money on those wind turbines. And actually, the wind turbines explain about half of the increase. And that increase means about $500 per average household consumer over the life of a turbine.
Let me ask you a question, though. Why would the government force Hydro to buy power from wind farms, from wind turbines, when we have so much hydroelectric power to begin with?
Well, I think it's that's a good question. Basically, what this has become is it's a government grant program. It's a corporate welfare program designed, I think, to appease the environmentalists and also to buy votes in the regions where those wind turbines are going to be built.
But how do you appease environmentalists? Hydropower is clean power to begin with. I mean, what's the problem there? We're not burning coal here.
Exactly. I mean, that's the point. I mean, I can understand that in some areas, in the middle of the desert somewhere, in a state that uses coal to produce electricity, that you might want to do this. And but here we're in a paradise of hydroelectricity. And so we don't need wind turbines to improve our environmental record.
So you're suggesting this is a policy implemented by the Liberals, so now going back about 8 years ago. But what are the PQ doing? Why haven't the PQ stepped in and said, okay, well, this is stupid. It's costing us money for no reason. We gain nothing from it. Let's scrap the program.
Well, that's the whole ridiculous part of it. Madame Marois is saying, hey, let's build even more. She's saying we should build 800 megawatts more, which is like an increase of 25%. And that's why we've launched this petition on our website to ask Madame Marois not to go ahead and build another 800 megawatts of wind turbine power. We want her to stop that, and we're asking the Liberals and who have actually created the problem back 10 years ago to try to block this with Monsieur Legault so that we're not stuck with even bigger losses than we already have. There's nothing we can do. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about the contracts that have been signed by the Liberals. I mean, these are 20-year contracts, and we're stuck with them. But to hear Madame Marois say, hey, let's build more, it's ridiculous. And what's even more ridiculous, Aaron, is that the PQ government shuttered small hydroelectric dams to save $24 million a year. So, they shut small dams to save $24 million, and now they're going ahead and they want to build even more wind turbines that are losing, hundreds of millions of dollars.
We're talking to Adrien Pouliot, leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec, on this proposed Hydro rate. You mentioned off the top that the government imposed this. The folks at Hydro, the president of Hydro, doesn't like this but has no choice. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. And it's a real shame, Aaron, that Hydro-Quebec which was once a proud crown corporation, has become really just a politician's puppet and has been transformed into it's a taxing machine and a vote-buying machine used as a shield. The politicians are smart because they're using hydro to hike the rates instead of being upfront and raising taxes to pay for these windmills.
Yet at the same time, I think you mentioned $695 million is the cost per year for all this basic power that we don't need, and now the PQ wants to do even more of this. Don't they have access to the same figures you have?
Oh yeah, they do. They have better figures than we have. What we have our estimates, and they'll say, oh well, it's to create jobs in the regions, and Quebecers are supporting the wind turbine industry to the tune of $140,000 per job. At that price, it would be more profitable, Adrien, to send a check to every employee in that industry equal to his salary and close all the wind turbines rather than maintaining the status quo, because we would then save $460 million. So, it's just a make-work project. It is important to create jobs in Quebec, but Quebecers in a free market are more efficient at doing that than governments.
It's nice to know we're subsidizing them to the tune of $140,000 a year.
Yeah, it's
for
amazing.
Each employee in this industry.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
All right, you started a petition you want people to sign. Obviously, you don't have much clout in the National Assembly, but a petition obviously will get seen and heard, hopefully. So where do people go to sign this?
So you just go on our website, particonservateurquebec.org, and we have on the English website, we have you'll see there's a button there to go and sign the petition. All you have to do is, put your email and sign, and we'll send it off. And the intention is to present it to Madame Marois, and also, of course, to the Liberals and the CAQ, so that they join together and try to block this ridiculous idea that's going to cost us a lot of money over the next years.
All right. And the website is what? Parti conservateur du Québec?
Yeah, Parti conservateur Québec, all in one word,
okay.
particonservateurquebec.org.
Et c'est disponible en anglais?
Et c'est disponible en anglais.
Okay, perfect. Adrien, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaron. Have
Talk
a
to you
great
soon.
weekend.
You too. Conservative Party leader, Quebec Conservative Party leader. As I said earlier, yes, there is a Conservative Party.